एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निरभव निर्वैर अकाल मूर्त जुनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद जप हाथ सच जुगात सच है भी सच नानक होसी भी सच एक अदति गुरु नानक देवा ओंकार गुरु अंगद पेवा सतनाम गुरु अमर प्यारे करता रामदास गुरबारे पुरख श्री अर्जन सुखदानी निरभव हर गोबिंद गुण खानी निर्वैर गुरु है श्री हर राय अकाल मूर्त हर कृष्ण त्याय अजुनी तेग बहादुर राय सैभं गुर दसमें सहाय गुर प्रसाद ग्रंथ गुर ज्ञाना वाहे गुरु वंदन भगवाना गुरु ग्रंथ कल जुग पयो श्री गुरु रूप महान 10 पातशाह एह रूप है गुरु ग्रंथ जी जान पूरन देखियो आत्मा द्वैत सर्व निवार पै शांतमान शांते ते पद नमो हमार मुँह को छरे शास्त्र खट पिंग गिरन छड़ जाए अंध लखे बदरोसने जो काल कृपा कराए कहा बुद्ध प्रभु तुझ हमारी बरन सके महिमा जो तिहारी हम ना सकित कर सिर तुम्हारी आप ले हो तुम कथा सुधारी सो कहो टल गुर सेविय अहनिस सहज सभाय दर्शन परसिय गुरु के जन्म मरण दुख जाय दर्शन परसिय गुरु के जन्म मरण दुख जाय वाहिगुरु
सतनाम श्री वाहिगुरु साहिब जी सोचै सोच न होवई जे सोची लख वार चुपै चुप न होवई जे लाए रहा लिवतार भुखिया भुख न उतरी जे बन्ना पुरिया पार सैस सियान पाल लख होए ता एक न चलै नाल किव सचियारा होइए किव कूड़ै टुटै पाल हुक्म रजाई चलना नानक लिखिया नाल
वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह Guru Sad Sangat Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. We are continuing on with the definitions of the Sri Japji Sahib. We're still in Pauri 1. So far we have completed 3 different lots of definitions for Pauri 1, and we're going to continue on today with the 4th definition. The first 2 definitions that have been given have been from the Sri Amir Pandar Teeka, which is a Taksali Teeka, or known as through the Gyani Sampardaic, but this one is through the Seva Panthis, and it was written by Sant Kirpal Singh Ji Sattu Galiwale, and the Katha was uttered by Sant Amir Singh Ji Sattu Galiwale, and they're part of Bhai Mani Singh Ji's lineage, and they're based in Sattu Gali within Amritsar, not far from Darbar Sahib. And Sant Amir Singh Ji did 60 different kathas, 60 kathas of the Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji in their life. And obviously during that lifetime, Sant Kirpal Singh Ji Sattu Galiwale made notations of the Katha as they went along, and then produced the Amir Pandar Teeka. And we're now going to carry on with the second definition from the Sant Gyani Gurbachan Singh Ji Teeka, which was written by Sant Kartar Singh Ji Pandrawale. And like I said, they are both Taksali Kathas. They're both from the same Taksal. They're just 2 different branches from the same tree. We're going to carry on now. This is the 4th definition. Kamalpreet Singh, if you can start, please.
सोचै सोच न होवई जे सोची लखवार.
Here Maharaj is saying, look, again, what we stated before, if a person is to wash their body and purify through as many means as they possibly can, you get many faiths, many different religious groups who practice their religious duty in such strict cleanliness because they believe that this is going to bring them closer to God. However, here Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji is saying, look, it does not matter how much you wash your body, but even if you are to do this 100, 1,000 times, even then it still does not allow the mind which is within the body to become pure, and a person remains impure. And Gurbani states here, Anak Jalao Je Tove Dehi Melna Utre Sad Sudana Tehi. So it says it doesn't matter how infinite waters you can be using to wash your body. The dirt on the body will never stop. It will continue. The person exfoliates, the skin decays all the time, constantly. And that is the dirt. That is what is seen as impure, dead skin. It is dirt and everything within your pores. That is what makes a person ill. But these religious groups who state that cleanliness is next to godliness, yes, it is. If it's done within the name of God, you can remain clean and then utter the name of God. However, through just cleanliness, a person cannot attain God. And like Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji stated within the Akal Ustad, that if cleanliness, or washing regularly or constantly allows a person to become one with God, then the fish should be one with God, because they swim in water all the time. So here, that's what Maharaj is saying. Maharaj here is saying that just through cleanliness, even if it's done 100,000 times, a person cannot make their mind pure. And they continue. Maharaj states again, say, look, here they say soche. Soche is to deliberate. They state, look, even if a person is to deliberate upon the qualities of Vaheguru, the qualities of God, if they are to deliberate on anything to do with God, yes, they'll grasp some sort of knowledge, but it does not make a person pure. It will not clear the mind. Even if a person is to think about God 100,000 times and, try to construct God within their own thought process of what God is, what Vaheguru is, who Vaheguru is, how Vaheguru is, what's the Maryada according to Vaheguru, even if they try to deconstruct this within their mind, then they still will not be able to purify their mind. And Maharaj then continues. Maharaj then again states, look, they say here, soch is to have conscious thought. If a person is to have conscious thought constantly on everything that's happened, everything to do with God, everything to do within the religious texts and the scriptures, even then, even if they do this 100,000 times, a person will not be able to control their mind. They will not be able to cleanse their mind in any way. And then Maharaj continues. They say, look, those people who try to remain quiet, outwardly quiet, those people who do not talk in any way and decide to then start to control their thoughts and desires that prompt in their mind. They say you can try as much as you want to stop your thoughts, stop your mind from wandering. But whatever happens, it will still not be able to do it. You will still not be able to do that. And even if you tried, they said, even if you tried to have a constant thought in the way that there is a constant stream of oil, it runs constantly without making a noise. It stays quiet. Even if you are to have constant thought, constant conscious thought, to keep the different waves of thought from coming within their mind, you will not be able to quieten the mind in any way. There will be no way of quietening it, and the waves of thought, both negative and positive, will still continue to come within the mind and cloud the mind. And then Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji continues. They say, look, they say, they said, if by externally keeping fasts, ritualistic fasts, does not allow the mind to stop having greed for materialistic desires. They said, all that will happen is within their mind, they will hope for more and more and more. They will never be content. And in no way does it disappear. And Maharaj continues. They said even if they went Banna Puriya, here they talk about the different domains. Even if they get the domains of the deities, like Indrapuri, Vishnupuri, Shivpuri, Brahmpuri, these are those different domains or the different heavens where those people who worship these deities will spend time with their deity within their realm. They said even if they are to gain everything within these domains, then Banna means to control. They will be unable to control the amount of desire that they have for materialistic objects. And, the mind will not stop at any point. if we are to look at this in just a logical way and try to refrain from eating for 24 hours, your mind will constantly wander on food. It will constantly be hungry. It will desire for food. It will yearn for food. You get many faith groups who, the Muslims celebrate Eid every year, and for Ramadan, for a month, for Ramzan, they spend a month eating during the nightly hours, and then during the day remaining without food. You ask anybody who's on Ramzan, all they talk about all day is they can't wait for the night to come so they can break their fast. But at the same time, this is supposed to be a religious ceremony, a religious occasion, in order to bring somebody close to God. But all it does is, by keeping outwardly fasts, outwardly practices like this where you are not to eat. Within the Hindu faith they have Gurbachan and things like that where you're not supposed to eat because it's a ceremony done in order to protect your husband and look after them. But again, the women aren't really thinking about their husbands. They're doing it because it's a custom, and during the day all they're bothered about is hunger. It's their hunger that keeps their desire and their minds going, and those waves of thought enter again and again for different food, different material objects, different material things. Again, Ramzan, Ramadan for the Muslims is exactly the same. They're all looking forward to Eid, because Eid is their equivalent of Christmas when it comes to presents. So people are fasting during the day, thinking about food to eat at night, and then they're just hoping for materialistic desires all the time. And Maharaj states here, just by refraining from eating, there's no way of controlling the mind. The mind will not stop, and it will constantly want, and it will constantly have desires. And then Maharaj continues. They say, look, if a person is to gather the intellectual knowledge that's contained within thousands and thousands of religious scriptures, books, analytics, then Maharaj continues. They said, what does it matter? You can gain all this knowledge during your life, but once you die, it will not go with you. It will not be able to cause a person to control their mind. Gaining all this knowledge only increases your mind to wander and think and profoundly think. I'm not saying it's a negative thing at all. A person should be educated. A person should read. A person should constantly think and try to come up with reasoning. And here, what it's saying is, even if a person is to read 1,000 books, it will not be able to control their mind. The thoughts, the sankalpa and the vikalpa will continue. And the person will constantly have thoughts entering their mind. It doesn't matter how much they've read, how much Gurbani they've read. We are all human beings after all. And what we are trying to do is control that mind. And it is through the process of Gurbani, through meditation, through Katha, that a person is able to control that. And one of the stories given for an individual who is well versed was Bharatanath. Bharatanath's Katha comes within the Sri Dasam Granth. Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji have written the Avtaradi Katha, the stories of the manifestations. And now you get the Chavi Avtar, which is the 24 incarnations of Vishnu. You get the Upavtar, which are the incarnations of the manifestations of Brahma. And then you get the Shiva Avtars, the Rudra Avtars. So you get 2 Avtars in there of Shiva. And the first one is Dattatreya. Dattatreya adopts 23 different gurus, and it's all explained within there why he adopted them, what he learnt from them. Then the second one is of an individual by the name of Parasnath. Now, Parasnath today, most Hindus have forgotten about his history or where he is or anything to do with him. But Parasnath's actual place of reverence is in Pakistan, modern day Pakistan, and it is still revered to this day. There are now Hindus who are reimagining their past, reliving their past, researching their past, who go to Pakistan every day, who go to Multan every year, and when they go to Multan every year, they'll go and pay their respects to Parasnath. Parasnath was a manifestation of Shiva. I'll quickly summarise this. What happened was he was well versed in knowledge, he was well versed in arms, he was well versed in everything. Through his strength, through his qualities, he became a king. he defeated all the other kings around him. He defeated everybody, and at the same time he gained all the intellectual knowledge that he could, whether it was from one saint or a book or from an oracle. It didn't matter where it was, but he maintained and retained all the knowledge he could. It was because he was a manifestation of a deity. But when it came to it, he asked his vizier, he said, look, is this the case that I have defeated the whole world? As far as I see, I've defeated every king. I am sat here on my throne, and I have no one else to beat. I have no one else to kill in any way. And at that point, his advisor says, there is still someone out there that you haven't destroyed, that you haven't been able to contain and beat. Parasnath wanted to know who that was, and he said, I can't answer that, but Machandranath will. And Machandranath is a character who appears within Gurbani as well. In one of the Shabads by Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji, he says, Son Machandra, Guru Nanak Dev Ji are talking straight to Machandranath about what times he has gone off the path of Maryada, of the Siddhs. And so Parasnath is told, look, you have to go and find Machandranath. But Machandranath is sat within the stomach of a big whale. You need to capture this whale and then find Machandranath. Obviously, this is maybe an allegorical story, maybe not. But what happens is that Parasnath ends up finding this whale. He ends up cleaving through its stomach, and that way he finds Machandranath sat within the whale meditating. Parasnath pays his respects, and he asks Machandranath that question. He says, I have been told there is one king that I have not beaten or defeated. Who is he, so I can defeat him? And Machandranath then gives him the details of the army and the king that he has not been able to defeat and never will. And that king, he said, was his mind. He said, your mind, you have been unable to control your mind. You've externally defeated all these individuals, but you've been unable to control your mind in any way. And he said the mind has got 5 generals. And again, Parasnath was inquisitive. He wanted to know the details. He said, look, the 5 generals are Kam, Krodh, Loh, Moh, and Hankar. They are lust, anger, greed, attachment, and ego, which is pride. These are the generals, and you cannot kill them. You cannot control your mind. You cannot defeat these generals. And Parasnath heard all this, but he became determined that he was going to try to contain and maintain his honour by keeping his mind constant. He tried again and again and again, Parasnath. After this episode, he went back to his lands. He tried again and again to control his mind, but was unable to. In the end, he admitted defeat. He believed that he had been defeated by the mind, and there was no way that he was going to control it. And in the end, he asked his populace, the ministers, and everybody in government to collect all the sandalwood that they could for his funeral pyre. He was so distraught that he was unable to call himself the true king because he had not defeated the mind, that he ended up sitting on a funeral pyre, and it was set alight, and he self-immolated himself. Now, here we're talking about a deity who was knowledgeable, who was clever, who had all the abilities possible, but even Parasnath was unable to control his mind. And here Sri Guru Nanak Dev is saying, look, it doesn't matter how many religious books you've read, how many religious teachers you've been to, it doesn't matter what weapons you have, it does not matter. Like I said, you can have all these different things, none of these will go with you. And when Shivji died through the form of Parasnath, nothing went with him, no knowledge went with him, nothing at all went with him. The only thing that goes with you is the name of God. Repeat Simran of Vaheguru, Vaheguru, Vaheguru is the only transitory material object, it's not even material, non-physical object that goes with you from this life to the next. And it's like an account, it's like a bank account that goes with you, which can be in negatives, it can be accumulated. If it's accumulated, you'll earn the merit. If it's negatives, expect the punishment. And Maharaj here finishes off and they say, you need to realise this will not go with anybody at any point. And that's where we're going to leave today's article. That's the fourth definition done. Next time we'll get on to the fifth one. So Kamalpreet Singh, if you want to close up, please.
ਸੋਚੈ ਸੋਚ ਨਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਜੇ ਸੋਚੀ ਲੱਖ ਵਾਰ ਚੁੱਪੈ ਚੁੱਪ ਨਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਜੇ ਲਾਇ ਰਹਾ ਲਿਵਤਾਰ ਭੁਖਿਆ ਭੁੱਖ ਨਾ ਉਤਰੀ ਜੇ ਬੰਨਾ ਪੁਰੀਆ ਪਾਰ ਸੈਸ ਸਿਆਨ ਪਾਰ ਲੱਖ ਹੋਏ ਤਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਨਾ ਚੱਲੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਿਵ ਸਚਿਆਰਾ ਹੋਈਏ ਕਿਵ ਕੂੜੇ ਟੁੱਟੇ ਪਾਲ ਹੁਕਮ ਰਜਾਈ ਚੱਲਣਾ ਨਾਨਕ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਨਾਲ
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। हे गोबिंद हे गोपाल हे दयाल लाल प्राणनाथ अनाथ सके दीन दर्द निवार हे समर्थ अगम पूर्ण मोहे में अवतार अंधकूप महापयान नानक पार उतार आए प्रभु शरणागति कृपा निध दयाल एक अखर हर मन वसते नानक होत निहाल एक अखर हर मन वसते नानक होत निहाल। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह।